guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Sarah.
I'm Brianna.
And this is our brother Daniel.
For today's video, we decided that we would talk about what has been happening on Celebrity Big Brother Season 2. And since they show like 5 million episodes a week, by the time this video goes up, we'll have already missed like another episode at least, but we're just gonna talk about general ideas and what has happened so far. For reference, I'm a live feeder. I watch feeds as much as I can. And then when I'm not watching feeds, I'm constantly on Twitter trying to find out what's happening. And then Daniel, he's usually kind of a mix, right?
Right, yeah, like I normally, in a regular Big Brother season, I try to keep up with what's going on Twitter and I'll watch live feeds here and there when I can. But this season has been particularly difficult because I've had a hard time just keeping up with the show because there's like 7 episodes a week.
Yes.
So
But that's gonna slow down too, right?
Yeah, now I think it's primarily, I think 3 or maybe 4.
But I wanna try and do the live feeds. What do you do? Where do you go for the live feeds?
Well, there's 2 different ways. We technically like using, it's all through CBS, like you use the same login, but we use this app that's made by fans called BBViewer.
Shout out to BBViewer.
Shout out to BBViewer, Liquid 80, but theirs is much better, like the way it's organized.
So like I can go to CBS.com.
CBS.com
and just watch there.
Right, you can watch it on All Access or yeah, whatever. And they also showed on Pop TV at night. So like I have Pop TV, so I'll watch it on there sometimes.
And so what kind of stuff do you see? Oh yeah.
So basically you watch and it's just them like cooking or they're like in the backyard like exercising, but they'll be talking and sometimes it's interesting. Like,
well, and the thing is it's like people are constantly playing. With live feeds, you get to see the things that can't make it into the show. Because I mean, imagine trying to put 24/7 camera work into a show. Most TV shows, you're filming certain times, but this is like, it's the entire day into an hour-long program. So it's much harder to get everything. And then the other thing is that live feeds, it's constantly changing. So CBS, like what might air in one day, like on Wednesday's episode, for instance, it might already be like kind of out of date.
I was gonna ask that next, is like how much do you repeat? Like when you watch an episode, is it a lot of repetitive that what you've already seen?
Yeah, honestly, I know a lot of live feeders that primarily watch it for like the competition part because we don't get to see all of those. We never get to see POVs and we only get to see some HOHs. And otherwise, like they don't really care because a lot of the diary rooms are more scripted and not really what people like. But yeah, so you end up seeing like some repeats and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what, when you're watching live feeds though, it's kind of cool because usually production's pretty good. Like if something interesting is happening, they'll like go to that
Change
one.
it.
Like if it's, they'll just be cooking, but then they start talking game,
They switch it to that.
So you usually get to see
focuses
like,
on the game portion.
Yeah.
And you get more of their personalities, obviously.
Right. So who are you guys going for most, like so far?
Okay, so mine has changed. I like Tamar, but I, at the beginning, was kind of going for Jonathan, Brian, but when they were all like together for like 5 minutes, because it wasn't even that long. I liked it together. I thought they were gonna do really well. I think where they messed up though, the worst, was that Jonathan just not explaining about Dina. Like if he'd have just explained, I don't think they would have had a problem with him saving Dina.
Well, I do feel like Tamar, she had a good read of the situation because she actually saw right through Jonathan wanting to save Dina because that was like his girl, like she said.
I went in kind of really liking Joey, and now I'm kind of like, because I liked him as an actor, and like the stuff that I just seen him on, and then now watching him like all day long, or like all the throughout his whatever. I don't know. He's just a little.
Although I will say, as a Big Brother fan and somebody who does try and keep up, like I still feel like once Joey, like in that clip that they showed on the TV show, was like, oh, I don't believe in alliances, I was already done with him because that to me is like that's the whole point of the game. Like you have to have alliances. You can't just go through this game alone. So that's when he was down in my book.
Like Sarah was saying, I've been a fan of Joey's growing up. Like I've seen him in several different things. And so like I was excited to see him. And then like after watching his first like preseason interview, I was kind of like, I don't know about him. Like I already kind of had this like.
Well, and you understand that they're not taking this as like it's an Olympic competition or something. Like we get that that it's not that big of a deal to them. But like for him, it was almost like that. Like he was like, no, whatever. Like I don't need to do that. Like it just seemed kind of like I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why they can only lock these celebrities up in there for a month because they're such drama queens that they know they can actually last like a regular Big Brother season.
He is by far the biggest drama queen. That was one of the biggest complaints that live feeders had with the edit of the wall comp is because the entire time he complained. That's something they didn't show. But I think the reason they didn't show it is because he was primarily critiquing production. Like he kept saying, what's taking so long? I don't understand. Like, can't we speed this thing along? It's like, it's an endurance comp. Like, this is the entirety of the comp. Like, it's whoever lasts the longest. Like, if you fall off the wall, you'll speed the comp along. Otherwise, like, This is the comp. Like, but you get that, he's like, this is ridiculous. At some point, you have to take responsibility. Like, we're freezing out here. We're like penguins. And finally, Lolo, who was a couple people down from him, was like, this is the comp. Like, this is it.
Okay, so let's circle around to who our favorites were, because I don't think we ever even said.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so when it first started, when it was first announced, I don't really have a lot of prior knowledge of Jonathan Bennett other than that he was in Mean Girls, and I occasionally see him like in social media. But as it started to develop, I was like, okay, he's gonna be on the outs, because people were very like skeptical of him. So as a player, I was like, whatever. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, like a part of me wants to go for like the older crowd, like the little lines with Tom and like Kato, just because they're so kind of strange and like, I don't know, like.
My issue with them is that I feel like, especially now, because Kato has already won HOH, he's won a POV, and then Tom won HOH now, so I feel like they're now kind of almost getting, not cocky, but kind of like, you know, where you just start getting a little comfortable,
right.
And I feel like that's gonna kind of be a detriment to their actual game.
See,
I mean, we'll see, but I just feel like that's kind of the direction we're heading in. It's almost like they're kind of thinking that they're running things, and I'm like, okay, but that's this week, like, what's gonna happen next?
Well, and who do you feel like who did you like at the very beginning versus?
At the very beginning, I know, like, from experience and watching her and other things, that Tamar, she's a big personality, and I also know that she loves Big Brother. She's watched it for years, literally since the beginning. Granted, she doesn't watch feeds, but she was kind of who I always want to see the fans do well. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a regular season celebrity, like, I just love seeing those that love
even
it.
Jonathan, as much as he talked it up, I was like, dude, you're making like one of the primary mistakes at the beginning is you're not talking to your alliance.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the main things that everybody always messes up, and I'm like, dude, you said all this stuff about how much you liked it.
So I kind of like wanted her to do well, and then.
And can I say that Tamar's really great for TV? I mean,
She's
great.
is.
She's
Yeah.
dramatic. I like the whole wall thing where she was being like, she was very
That
entertaining.
was the best. Like,
It was the
oh my
best.
god, guys, no,
I was
I was
laughing
like
at
dying.
the
I was
screen.
that would be you. That would be you. Yes, I was that 100%.
I hate height, and it doesn't look like it's that high up. When you're hanging there, that looks really high up. I think at the beginning though, I didn't want to like her because I'm like, she's too much. Like, I see it on other stuff, I'm like, she's too much. I'm not gonna go for her. I'm gonna go for like somebody else. And then as it's going on though, I really do like her because I like how in your face she is. Like, she's very, like when she was laying there and Natalie walks in and is all, I think of a number. I was like, are you? What? And then Natalie could have easily covered that up. And say, did I just say two? Why did I say two if there's three?
Yeah,
Like,
but she didn't know this for a while.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But, and then the way she was just like, guys, I don't even care. Like, everybody's gonna make like, your final alliances, whatever. I don't care.
And that is the right way to handle it. You could have totally gone the other route and been like, I'm super upset. What is wrong with you?
Well, even if she was internally, that's fine. But that's not the way you like the way she handled it perfectly. Like, that is the way you should
and
handle
even
it.
after when Lolo and her kind of got into it, she was like I was just kidding. Like, that's just something that I say. And then the way Lolo went back at her, like, I kind of like them together because of that. They at least can say straight up, okay, I messed up.
I'll say this, like, I mean, Tamar is definitely, I don't think I could be playing the game with her because she is a lot. Like, she does, she and Lolo, they're both like,
Man,
their
Lolo too,
fuses, their fuses are so short that it was bound to happen, their fight between them. Like, I knew that was gonna happen.
Well, and I thought that,
just,
like, you know, she would be a lot more of like a manipulator kind of. I thought Tamar was kind of good fooling people and like kind of fixing how it was, and she really kind of is. She's kind of like hanging back a little bit more. I don't know if she will later on.
It's hard because it's like, in a normal season, you definitely have time to be the person that like kind of sits back and waits for other people to be picked off, and then you come forward. With this like type of format, I don't really feel like you have that luxury. So I feel like it's going to be harder for her to kind of actually be the one to kind of pull people in. Like, I know when Ryan was evicted, she immediately went to Joey and was like, okay, listen, I'm gonna give you 20 minutes to be sad about this, and then we need to get it together. Like, we need to get some, and which was good because she was trying to pull in the people that she wasn't necessarily working with, but the people that are outside on the outside, you know, because that's what you need to do.
And can we give a shout out to Ryan Lochte, because I think he was very entertaining, very like clueless when it came to this, but like, hilarious.
Yes, and watching like pre-season interviews and just like knowing his like his public perception, like I thought he was gonna be like a tool, like I thought he would be kind of dumb.
Party boy, like just kind of dumb, but she was kind of dumb.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
But he was kind of following Jonathan's lead though. Like, he was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. He was trying to like do what he was telling him to do.
He didn't change that part of like my perception of him, but he did. Like, he was so nice. He was nice to everybody.
Well, even when he left.
Yes, and I was so sad when when he left.
No, why would I be mad at that? Why would it be awful and stuff? And I'm like,
I love
But I think
that.
when you've like been through it all, like as he has, I mean, he's been through so many Olympics, and I feel like he's been through so much in his personal life too. Like I feel like he's come through so many hardships, and like he has his own family now, so I feel like he's more like toned down. I think.
Yeah,
but because I was gonna say, as many Olympic medals as he has, and as much like in his career as he's done, you would think that this would be like almost how Joey's acting.
Yeah,
like
right.
Joey's like, this is
Yeah.
You would think that's how Ryan. That's how I thought Ryan was gonna.
Joey and I broke it, I
But
guess.
Joey, I feel like I don't know if it was just his manager was like, hey, you should do this, and he was like, okay, fine. Like it almost seems like he didn't look into the show. Like
He
didn't
didn't know anything
No,
about
he
it.
was
I've
like,
never seen it.
And to him, he's playing very like personal. Like he's like, I don't like that. I'm not that type of person. It's like, okay, but it's a game.
It's a game.
Like,
And that's the way that
it's fine if that's not who you are on the outside. Like you don't have to be. It's like when you're playing Monopoly. I'm not gonna steal my sister's house in real life, but like in the game, that's the point of the game. You know, you follow the rules. Like, that's what's driving me insane about him.
Well, and you
like,
would think too, anything you're gonna go on to, I feel like you should research just to know, because you don't want to be that person that looks like an idiot.
Well, and this is like
Some of
how
them
like
seem
in
to-
regular Big Brother. Like in regular Big Brother, whenever you get those recruits that production just goes out and finds
You're pretty.
and random side, you're pretty. Like I'm gonna put you on the show, and they have no clue what the show is about. They've never watched Big Brother. Like they're usually the ones that are getting so hurt
and
about the
sometimes-
stupidest things. Like it's not
Sometimes it does work. Sometimes it's almost better because you don't
True. You don't
have.
really get
Sometimes, yeah, right. Fans a lot of times they like get too into their own thing, but it's still to at least do some research on it.
Right.
Like, there should be some sort of like guideline that you have.
class.
Yeah.
I would, if I was in the Big Brother house, I would do the dishes because you can find out so many things from people
June.
just by doing the dishes,
Yeah, June.
cooking.
That's essentially how she played. She stayed in the kitchen cooking all day, and she would listen to like and see what was happening around the house. Like she would see people come in and out of rooms.
One, and then like, oh, you're more likable because she always cooks and she's always eating. She's always.
Which, by the way, can I give a shout out to Tamar for going off about the whole cooking thing? Because I feel like if you're gonna cook, you shouldn't have to clean too.
That was her whole problem.
Well, and the fact that like even when she went back and she was talking to him about it, and she said like you can have a lot of reasons not to, but that's a really stupid reason to fix it. Another reason why, but that was gonna. And you can tell he was trying to just pull something. Like he was trying to find a reason.
Just go to the cliche Big Brother reason of I really feel like I haven't connected with you as much, and it's not personal.
Yes,
that's all you have to say, and then everybody will be fine. Like
we don't have a connection.
You're gonna hurt the feelings anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna want to.
Nobody wants to be on the
So you might as well just like make it as easy as possible for yourself.
Yeah.
But I do like that she actually like that. That's the reason why I like her, because she came up and she said like straight up, this was not. I might have taken it a little more personal, but when you mentioned as soon as you mentioned that, it triggered something in her that she obviously feels like she's always felt. And I hear a lot of moms say that, working moms say that too. That you feel that guilt of you're always away from your child when you're working.
Well, and then other people had an issue because at first when live feeds come back, because we don't see when nominations happen. They go down for that. So when they came back up, it was just kind of Tamar saying like, you don't bring my son into this, and everybody was like, well, whoa, did he bring her son into this? Because that's not okay. And then people were saying, well, why isn't he telling Ryan that? Because Ryan has a son. Why isn't he telling the guys that have kids? Like, why should he be singling out Tamar? But so I think the whole thing kind of got misconstrued.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny that he's on this show. Like I completely forgot that he was even like a person.
Yeah. He's such a different person than I pictured him being.
Yeah.
Like he's so quirky.
Dad jokes all the
Yes.
Yeah.
He was notoriously known as being dumb. So that's what I kind of expected. I expected him to be very dumb.
What do we think about Tom?
My only thing is that whole thing that I was talking about, I'm worried that he is going to get too comfortable now with Kato being HOH and him being HOH now. Like,
I was gonna say he was my favorite at the beginning. That's what I was going for. And then I've kind of like shifted a little bit to Tamar, and I kind of do see like what you were saying about him getting a little too. At first, they were kind of like the odd man out because the younger people were kind of.
I thought they would lay low for a little bit and then.
See, I wanted to go for them because usually when it comes to Big Brother, I end up going for like the ones who are not the pretty people,
I always go for
the
that.
popular kids. Like I go for the underdogs because I just feel like they usually have a harder stake in this.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about Dina though? Are y'all going for Dina?
Dina is interesting.
I feel like she's taking everything too personally.
Well, I don't think it's hard because she doesn't even understand the game very well.
Right.
Like, to me, she's kind of a number at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see her winning, I mean, on Coconut at least, because she doesn't really, I don't see her strategizing. I mean, she did well in the wall comp, so there's that, but like, I don't know, I don't really see her being a winner.
Which I was really surprised.
But I think people might keep her around.
The older people were the ones that I was like, wow.
The Olympian
And then
the wrestler, like Joey works out all the time.
Right.
I mean, granted, they work out, but not at the same caliber as the other ones.
Yeah.
And typically with that, when Brandon can knows more about this than I do, but I know that comp, it's usually advantageous for like smaller folks who can like crouch. And so Joey was actually kind of like the ideal body
I
type.
thought
He's
he
fit
would
and
be
small.
And this was straight.
This one was different because usually
and they were lean a little
on the
bit.
body.
That's
Even though
true.
it's strength, you're having to keep your arm at a more awkward part and stuff.
But you know, expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected.
So I'm still going for Tom.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So another thing with Tom is he gets in his head and he starts saying, wait, well maybe this and this is happening and we just think it's this, and I'm like, okay, you're overthinking things, like calm it down, go back to what your original thought, reel it in.
So notwithstanding who you want to win,
Right.
who do you think will win? Do you have like a prediction? Is it too early maybe?
I think it's still too early, only because I feel like not the like full alliance.
I
Like
think-
they're just switching into their. I think
I
where they're
think
gonna
if
be.
Natalie gets to the end, she's friends with everybody. I feel like she has a good shot of winning if she can make it that far.
I have a question. Who do we think actually has any clue of what's going on? Because I feel like, to me, a lot of them were clueless. Like the majority of them were clueless about how they're
Tamar.
doing.
She's called
Who has
quite
a
a
good
few
read on the
different.
game? Yeah. Tamar?
She's already called quite a few things that.
Well, and she
were-
knows the game very
True.
well.
Yeah.
She's
So,
a fan.
I actually think Natalie does, like, her read of the house is usually pretty good. Lolo and her are strategized together because they're writer guys. So like,
Lolo's very like.
but she doesn't have
short
Lolo
fuse
doesn't have a
difference,
chance,
too.
so I don't think, because she snaps at people.
Right.
Well, and even where she got
She's a
mad
temper.
at Ryan, like that was like the flicking off thing. She put herself like right,
That was so-
right away, and
That
I was
was
like,
dumb.
dude, you can't.
Yeah.
It's like, she was just very jealous of their
That's my
Jonathan
homie.
and-
Yes, like,
Yeah.
which, okay, their romance was like the funniest thing to me. I was
Was it?
I'm so sad it's so short. It was so
Yes.
short. That would have been like
I was not
heartbroken.
expecting it at all, and like he like said so many times, like after Jonathan left, he's like, I wonder what Jonathan's doing right now. It's like, I bet you he's having a fear. When it was Tamar and Dina who were on the block, he was anticipating that he would be backdoored, and he's like, well, if I get evicted today, at least I get to go see Jonathan.
That's hilarious.
I was sad too that they went like like right after each other.
Yes.
Because I feel
That's
like
how it's shown.
Ryan would have still added a little bit something
Mhm.
to the
yeah.
house.
I was so
that I was like,
sad.
dang, he's gonna leave right away too.
I wasn't big on Jonathan, like I was okay with him leaving, but Ryan actually really liked him.
And I feel like I have to imagine that production did not anticipate losing those two
No.
big names this early on. Ryan and Jonathan had a little more name recognition. I mean,
Yeah.
They've been on like other shows like Dancing with the Stars, so I
Right.
feel like they probably didn't count on them leaving so quick back to back.
Well,
but
and
that's
that's
just how
in
it
a
is.
normal season, usually
Right.
it's not the strong, pretty guys that
Right.
go home first.
Well, Jonathan kind of set them up quickly though too by, like I said, like not talking to, because you already have like, you haven't known each other very long. You have, this little bit of an alliance,
Right.
and then you right away are already cutting.
Well, I think there's so many
Well, and
examples of
not to-
people overplaying the game and like.
Well, on
from the get-go.
BB19, not to bring up that awful season, but remember when Cody didn't tell his alliance that he was planning on putting a Paul? It was like really like that turned the entire house against him, and then by default Jessica because they were together. So I feel like it's a similar situation.
And to contrast too is like this time when Kato, when he was talking to her and he was like, no, just relax, like calm down. He was at least kind of letting her know like you're not the one that we're heading for,
Yeah.
but some kind of like a little bit of like don't necessarily have to read out your whole thing,
Right.
Jonathan. But if he'd at least been like, okay, look guys, like Dina, we're not gonna put her yet, just because you say whatever you want. If you don't want to say you're gonna save her,
Yeah.
but just say she's kind of like she's just quiet, she's kind of just we're just gonna leave her for numbers or something.
No, I would have
Like,
just said, I would have been honest with them. I would have been like, look guys, she's never gonna go against what I'm telling her because we're like close. Like we have a history. Like
Yes,
she's not in our
you
alliance,
could
but
use
like
that.
I can
Yeah.
we can use her as a number.
I was gonna say Queen Ika from BB Canada. She posed a great question on Twitter asking if you could choose two people in the house. We'll add in Jonathan, Ryan, and then they've been evicted already. If you could choose any two people to be in an alliance with, who would they be and why?
Oh, it's being in an alliance with.
wait, like us being in the alliance with?
Yeah, like if you were in the house, who would you want to be aligned with?
Oh.
What two house guests?
I would honestly say Natalie. Natalie would be a good choice, and then I would probably honestly. I kind of want to pick like either Kato or Tom, assuming that they don't like let the power go too much to their head, because that could always be a double-edged sword. You want to have somebody who's like willing to like make big moves, but you don't want somebody who like gets the power trip and like goes off.
I think I would go for Tom. I don't even know Tom and Tamar because I feel like she's not with Natalie and Lolo anymore.
I would want Ryan, honestly, because he, number one, is a huge target, so that would be one target in front of me. He's also athletic and he's loyal as can be because he doesn't get the Big Brother game as like much as other people would. He would be like too loyal to fault for him.
Do you think by association though, like it would be like a like target on your back by like being with somebody who's such a big target? Like,
Not necessarily.
Sometimes isn't, sometimes
well, but the thing is, look at Joey. for instance, they were like, no, we need to go after Ryan first before Joey because he's the bigger threat. And that's my
But do you think
I feel like he would be a bigger target.
But you don't think you would have lost him quickly no matter what? Like he wouldn't have made it very far in the game no matter what?
I think it would be a different game. It would just depend. I'm just like saying that's the type of person I would want to be with. And then somebody else, like maybe a Tom or Natalie, just somebody else in there that kind of can help strategize. Obviously Ryan can't do that.
Can I say a theory about Celebrity Big Brother though? That I think it differs so much from regular Big Brother is that I think in regular Big Brother a lot of times you'll see certain folks latch on to those like stereotypically like pretty popular people. Whereas in Big Brother Celebrity they're all kind of like divas and they're all kind of like they've known some degree of fame. So it's a little different. Like I think people almost want to target that person.
It's less high school.
It's very like it's high school quick.
Well, and I think there's automatically if you know the characters, not like Ryan who didn't know who Joey was. But like if you already kind of have a notion of who they are,
what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Can I say this about Ricky? Because I feel like if I'm like trying to read him, I almost feel like he's one of those people that they carry like a very straight face, and so you're sometimes like not so sure where they're coming from.
Right.
You know, like they don't, their emotions aren't really all over the place.
He's really smart.
So what is he
though,
actually? What are his intentions?
I think you can tell he's constantly like the wheels are constantly spinning. Like he really does think about things, and he has planted a lot of seeds. Like,
did y'all think it was good that what's his name didn't stay? Anthony.
Oh, the Mooch?
My fears are, I mean, we're skeptics in general, but they're questioning if that was like a real thing, like what ended up happening there. People were like, did he just want to quit and CBS is trying to cover it up, or is it that this was planned right away? And if so, why did they do it like that? Like, they had to have known we wouldn't like that. Like, it's kind of, which it is kind of weird. Like, that's not really a twist, like nothing happened, he went home. Like, it's not really a twist for us. And the other thing that's weird is usually they tell the viewers.
Right.
If nothing else, like if nothing else, like BB12 with the saboteur, the viewers knew that there was a saboteur, like at least. Like even if they had just said like there's a house guest that's not really a house guest, like at least something.
I kind of believe that only because I feel like he's not a very good actor, so I feel like he would have seen more. Like when, like at the beginning parts, he wasn't acting. Even when he was just talking by himself, he wasn't acting like
that's why people
he wasn't
don't,
gonna stay.
Right. I don't know. It just seems weird. The whole thing is kind of.
You know what? But they did say that they spotted him at that conference in Switzerland with all the billionaires, right? Wasn't that the one that he was at?
Yeah, it was right after.
So maybe he had like a clause in his contract that if he had like a good reason to go or something, maybe.
Well, and he said, "Oh no, I definitely didn't quit." A lot of people are speculating that it was actually CBS came to me with the idea, and I said, "Hey, it works around my schedule. Like if we plan it like this," and so that's his story. He's sticking to it. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced either way. So
it's just so
I don't know that much of Big Brother anymore, so I just thought it was a twist. I was just like, okay, I didn't like
twists like that, but like Brandon said,
usually
you know. That's
I just it didn't seem to me like all the interviews he was doing before and like talking to everybody, it didn't seem to me like he was trying to,
that's what's
or like he was planning on getting out.
Well, like I said, BB fans were very skeptical.
So I mean, he actually holds a record for the communications director with the least amount of days in the White House. So did he also hold the record as the?
No, seriously. Well,
because
Megan might have him beat.
Oh really?
Well, because BB19, remember she wasn't even on feeds either. Because he didn't make it to feeds, but neither did Megan. So
I want to know how many days he was in there. Was he in there in the White House more days?
Oh, he was in the White House.
Yeah.
11 days.
11 days in the White House, and everybody was waiting for him to make it to day 12 on Big Brother, and that didn't happen. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, this was kind of a video all over the place with our Big Brother thoughts. We're clearly very involved.
But thank you for coming and joining us, Dan, and giving us your opinion. I think it's good to have, because we kind of have like the obsessed. I haven't really watched, and you're like
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, you've watched a lot of them. But
yeah. And a lot of times I keep Dan all up to date in normal seasons. I haven't really done it.
Yeah, she does a good job.
But I usually tell them like, oh my gosh, this is happening, or I'll send.
And it's 100% different from what it was at the beginning. Like it was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like the set alone, I was like, oh my, they have a lot.
Now they have a completely different house. Their house changed.
Which is funny. It's funny that she says there's a lot more money that goes into. First of all, this is Celebrity Big Brother, so that's one caveat. But actually,
does the house not look like that normally?
Well, they don't. They get a lot nicer stuff than.
For sure.
I'm really excited to see the regular one to start watching again, like Big Brother. But it is hard to keep up with like this, that they're coming out like so fast.
Well, usually it's 3 episodes a week on the normal season. Sunday's episodes are usually more fluff. They're usually like the end of the HOH competition, and then like just diary rooms and
Right.
It's
Whereas
not
Wednesday's
as-
veto, Thursday's elimination.
Right. So those are a little bit more gaming. People are like really scheming.
Thank y'all for watching.
Make sure and comment below and let us know who you guys are going for. Make sure and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that it'll let you know every time we
Like,
post.
subscribe. We'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.
Bye.
I don't know.
Once around the bend.
What's around the river bend? Get out of our video. And our brother Dan will have to leave.
Suddenly he's
Suddenly he had an emergency.
Or we just blur your face the whole time.
And
changes going.
You in the background.
What's on your shirt? Where's your jacket? Is your jacket?
It's blue!
It's her video.